I've seen a lot of Christian films in my life, and I usually get very upset with them because they're not great. They can be a little cheesy. Welcome to That's a Latte Film with your host, Erica. On this podcast, I will talk about some unpopular opinions on some popular films. So grab a cup of coffee, relax, and join me. Disclaimer, some of the films that we discuss may be a little explicit, so please beware before you watch the films. There also will be a lot of spoilers.
Will you snap out of it and get me some more coffee?
Hi guys. So I wanted to talk about another movie, and I cannot believe I haven't talked about it yet. I have not talked about it just because I forgot, not because I didn't like the movie, but it is called Jesus Revolution. I am a Christian, so I've seen a lot of Christian films in my life, and I usually get very upset with them because they're not great. They can be a little cheesy at times, and it would get me really frustrated. I think the only really good Christian film that I had seen before Jesus Revolution was The Passion of the Christ, and I think that movie has made the most waves in the film industry, because I think people just didn't expect it to do so well. So that's the last great Christian movie cinematically that I've seen. So this movie, Jesus Revolution, was so crazy good, guys. From beginning to end, kept me at the edge of my seat, didn't make me feel cringe at any moment, and it had a little bit of everything. It had, romance, it had conflict, but not just typical, you know what I mean. You know what I'm getting at, right? I understand that the ultimate goal is to get people to, want salvation from watching the film and to want to know Jesus and everything. I understand that's the ultimate goal, but sometimes it can get a little cheesy because they're only focusing on that goal, and I don't want it to sound like that's not a good thing, but it kind of narrows the options too much, I think. So in this case, it was a Christian film based on a person's life, and they went into pretty great detail about let me just read the summary. So in the 1970s, Greg Laurie and a sea of young people descend on sunny Southern California to redefine truth through all means of liberation. Inadvertently, Laurie meets a charismatic street preacher and a pastor who opens the doors to a church to a stream of wandering youth. What unfolds is a counterculture movement that becomes the greatest spiritual awakening in American history. So yeah, it's about this preacher named Greg Laurie, who is, I believe, still preaching now, and it talks about how he got saved and his whole journey. And it's he meets all these hippies, and they want to go to church, they get saved and they want to go to church, but the people in the church are just not with it, and they feel this is against everything that they're used to, and that there's no way that God is okay with this, but God is completely in it, and he's using this as a way to get the message of Christ out there. So, but it goes into depth on a lot of deep issues that people face, back then in the 70s and today, people are seeking the truth, and they will do whatever they need to do to find that answer. And in this case, it led to Christ as the answer to what they were searching for, you know? And so this movie was like, the way that they told it was so great. The actors, the man who plays a hippie, but he's like a really passionate for Christ hippie. And he plays Jesus in The Chosen as well. So people know him already for that. But he plays this character so well because he makes you feel like, I don't know, like the way that he plays this man, he's just like very genuine about his faith, and it just makes you like see through the eyes, like when you're looking at him through like the pastor's eyes, you know, because the pastor originally was totally against him being at the church, you know, totally against hippies being in the church. And there's one scene that this hippie comes to his house and he's like, you know, upset. The pastor's upset that he's there, but he's hearing him out. But when you look into the eyes of this hippie, it's like you just see such a genuineness about him, and it just makes you feel so like such empathy, I guess you could say, and compassion for him. And it's just like you want this pastor to like bring down his walls and accept them, you know. And it just, you see them through God's eyes, I guess, when you watch the film. Like, how could you turn them away? You know, they want to come, so let them come, you know. It is so great. I recommend this movie to everyone. I think everyone should watch it. You know, if you're not a believer, watch it anyway. You know, and it has some great perspectives on many different topics that I think would be beneficial. And I really hope that we get more films like this in the Christian industry. Like, it gives me hope as a person who wants to make films, but has always wanted to make inspiring Christian films, but like that are not cliche, that are not put in a box, you know, that are telling real stories that can create real change, and not put God in a box, but tell real authentic stories, you know. Because just because we're Christians doesn't mean that we can't tell good stories, that we can't tell compelling stories. You know, we have people out here like C.S. Lewis, who wrote so many compelling, amazing stories that are still being told to this day. You know, the writer of The Lord of the Rings, people love that whole franchise. So, and that is considered a Christian film, and it's accepted worldwide because it's good. You can't tell me that it's not good. So those are the kind of stories that I want to tell. And I would say that Jesus Revolution is very, very much going in that direction. And so I greatly appreciated it. I loved it. I walked out of there so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, finally we're going in the right direction. And I don't have to feel like a crazy person going to these movies, you know. So please go watch it. Please go support this movie. I think it's still in theaters right now. If not, rent it when it comes out. You know, every Christian should be out here watching that movie, to be honest with you. But I'm telling you, it's not cliche. It's a wonderful story. Very well done. Great quality as well. The production, wow. So good. So please go watch it. We need more support in the Christian film industry. And on that note, I love you a latte. Please go watch it. Bye.